online. We're streaming. Hopefully, I can be heard well. This is not my typical setup. As we can see, I'm going back to an early kind of setup. Back when I was doing board games on Sundays and video games on Mondays. And I really wanted to try this game, and I thought it would be a fun one to do on stream. And know that my husband and I might be doing more of these, not solo games, obviously, um, but games in general. So here we have Final Girl, and my camera that's looking at me, of course, is over here, and I've got this lovely camera looking down over here. This is as fancy as my setup gets at the moment. If the music is loud, please somebody let me know. I feel like it probably is. I feel like we're together on this one. Okay, yeah. Maybe a little too low. There we go. All right. So yes. We're going to be streaming Final Girl tonight. And hello if you're watching this as a video on demand. Hello if you're watching this on YouTube. This is 21. Yeah! Woo! Since I don't have stream alerts, this is what I do. This is what I do. Woo! It's dance time because I don't have any headsets or anything on. So, you're the best, Harper. Thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in, even though you are not at home. I do appreciate that very much. Um, yes, one of these days I will actually, I know I keep saying I'll get the alert set up. One of these days. Um, but yeah, right now we are uh, here. We are playing Final Girl. As I was saying, this is a single player board game. One that I actually have, I think, all the entire set of, including like upgrades and whatnot. You can thank Mortex slash Pandaman slash Wayne, whatever we're calling him this evening, for that. I also appreciate. I also am very sorry for like the lack of light. Actually, I'm gonna pop off 1 second, see if I can get a little bit more light on my face. I'm still here. I'm still here. I promise. Don't go away. If you're getting in for the first time, I'm coming back. I need more light. It's fully getting dark outside, and I didn't realize how dark it was going to get. And I don't have a good light setup out here. Woo! I appreciate the bits. I appreciate you checking in. I appreciate you. I appreciate everyone whenever they tune in and take a moment to yeah. So it's actually a little dark for me right now. There is a light right above me, but unfortunately, when I turn that on, you cannot see the board. There's way too much reflection on the board. Uh, so let's start with one thing. I am going to end up going a little slow. This is only the second time I've ever played this game. I kind of introduced myself to it and the rules on Sunday so that I wasn't entirely lost when I was doing this for the first time or had to have a YouTube Let's Play going on next to me. And if I end up having to do that, I end up having to do that. It is what it is. We will all survive. Maybe we won't. Maybe we won't. Um, but hopefully the music is good in the background for a little bit of creepy atmosphere. As always, mwah, thank you to Anthony Vito, aka the Torchbearer, who sometimes comes on, for being my wonderful producer and making sure that we can have some atmosphere when we need to have a little atmosphere. So, this is Final Girl. And the good thing about Final Girl is you have a bunch of different heroes and scenarios, tomato. Just really need another light. I'm gonna wait till Mortex get home and see if he can help me out. I was underestimating how dark this room would get. So hopefully he can help me set up something that's this way. Because last time when we used to play out here, we would play on Sunday mornings, and of course that Light was fantastic. So, so yes, we have Final Girl, and base of single player. It's always single player. So it's basically you versus the board. Now, of course, if you want to have a friend or someone with you to help you make decisions or help you figure things out, that's great. But the board is the killer. You are the final girl, and that's kind of the point of the game, is that it's you versus everything, much like the final girl of a movie, of a horror movie. So the big question becomes, are you going to rise to the occasion and save everyone? Or are you going to fail miserably? Yes, if you're just looking for a single player game, this is one for you. And of course, if anyone tunes in and they've played this before and I'm doing anything wrong, please let me know. If you happen to have a Let's Play going on in the background, I have no shame. I will always take a look. I will take a look at the rule book. I will take advice. Now, the big thing with this game is that there are rules, and I'm going to go over some of the setup in a moment. Most of the game has been set up, which is good. Um, because it would have taken me a really long time to set it up, and honestly, go to a Let's Play video for that. It's a little bit of a complicated setup. Um, but the the thing is that honestly, the board and the cards will tell you a lot of what you need to do as long as you're following on the back of your rule book. You do have a turn summary, which is always the most important thing. So as long as you understand what all the back of the stuff here, what all the symbols mean, know your turn summary, understand how to do the action card sequence, um, a quick Let's Play will go ahead and will get you going. The longest thing about this is the setup ahead of time, because you see it's a little fiddly. You got lots of little pieces here. I do have, and I'm very fortunate because my husband did buy this from a game store that was unfortunately going out of business. The gentleman who ran it is very, very lovely. I got to meet him at Dice Tower East. Um, the This is the deluxe set. We've got nice mats. We've got little areas to put everything. Fingers. If I'm going to do this, I need to get a manicure, don't I? um, but yeah, if you just were to get the boxes by themselves, and the boxes themselves are everything a single box. You have the base game. Let me run and grab that real quick. Don't go anywhere. So, and I'm not gonna. Actually, no, that's a bad idea. So, for Final Girl, if you're going to be playing the game, you need first the core box. This core box is what is necessary for all of the basics. And I believe it comes with, and once again, I'm sorry, I don't know if that's the truth. I assume it has to come with the Camp Happy Trail scenario, because that is the one that we have open. But various scenarios will come in boxes like this. And you'll have the Final Girl and the instructions, and I believe every box has two Final Girls, two rule sets, one killer, one setting. So what we're looking at for our setting today is Camp Happy Trails, which is very much a Friday the 13th sleepaway camp. Hans is your Jason type character. If you can kind of see him, he's wearing a big pig mask here. His little unpainted mini has a pig mask on it, and I'll read his lore in just a moment. But this is your very basic starting thing. I'm actually using the alternate hero for the movement. I decided not to play Lori. I'm playing Rico, who's got some cool stuff with her, but she is also a Camp Happy Trails character. So, or at least an alternate character. And that's just it. The game can exactly. So you add the core box. Okay, so the core box is separate, and then you need to add your whatever scenario it is that you are putting on. And I am gonna lift this up real quick. So once again, coming right back. So this is, if you look at this, this is the box for Camp Happy Trails, right? You might be like, well, that doesn't look like it has a lid. Oh, it surely does. It surely does. These little pieces down here, Hans himself and the location, they are your lid. They are your game board. And it's incredibly well made. Like I am in awe of how well made this is. They're magnetic, honey. It's incredible. I love things that have a lot of thought built into them, and this game has a lot of detailed thought built into it. And just the box design, in the pieces, and how it gets put together. Um, so yeah, and like I said, we've got a number of the upgraded pieces. For example, we don't have the miniatures painted, but we do have the miniatures of all of them. Like I said, I have a whole set of and have miniatures of Hans and Reiko here. If I were not to have them, um, your base game does come with these two meeples to use. This, of course, the pink one is the final girl because she's so girly. And the red one is the color of blood and he is your bad man. Or woman. I think, yeah, I think some of them are women too. I think there's a ghost. So, yeah, so I'm gonna get started in a minute. I'm gonna walk through some of the additional setup because I didn't finish the setup. This is just the bulk of it. Where to go next? So, as we do this, as we go through the game, and because this is my stream, and we all know my stream, and my stream is always a little ridiculous, um, as many complicated games like this happen, you can't account for every single rule, or sometimes your rules will conflict with each other. In that case, the game suggests three ways of handling a conflict of rules or in a situation where the rules are ambiguous. There is the rule of ultimate evil. The ultimate rule of ultimate evil, the first rule, says that, well, if that's the case, we assume that the bad guy is always at an advantage, and you, as the player, must make the worst decision for your gameplay. So if it involves taking out two victims instead of one, if it involves coming after you instead of going after a victim, um, that's the way it is. That's the rule of ultimate evil. And the most important thing is if you choose one of these three rules, you have to do it consistently throughout. The second option is the rule of realism. Okay, well, knowing the killer and knowing the killer's motivations as described by the lore, or if you are being the killer, or you are being the final girl, what is the thing that is the most realistic thing that you would do? If you're supposed to move, but moving in one option puts you at a disadvantage, and moving in another option gives you a hiding spot, well, you choose a hiding spot in the rule of realism. Whereas in the rule of ultimate evil, you made the dumb final girl decision and you accidentally ran straight into the killer. Or, and this is the rule we're going with this evening, the rule of hilarity, because I am a ridiculous human. The rule of hilarity states, exactly as it sounds, is that when there is an ambiguous moment, we try to find the funniest solution. So I feel that is the most, the best thing to do here. Also, as I mentioned, this is only my second time playing. So I will be referring to the rules a lot. I may also die very, very quickly. The game is, according to the box, can run anywhere from 20 minutes if you're very unlucky. uh, because you're not going to win in 20 minutes. Or it's going to or it can run to an hour if you're just moving at a nice pace. So it's a nice game for you to sit down, especially if you have it set up ahead of time. Excuse me. To just kind of sit and play, and you're not dedicating your whole day to it, or you can play through multiple scenarios with multiple different rules. Okay, so here we have, of course, the rule book, which is, as I said, I will be referring to quite a bit as we go. And we have the lore book, which I think is a really fun little thing to add. And I will be doing one of the scenarios from the lore book just to add a little flavor. It doesn't require a lot of different things on my part. And I'm sorry if I keep looking this way. This is where my monitor is for my actual screen, where the camera that you're taking a look at is actually over here. So it's easier for me to kind of see what's going on over here. Looking at that. I will fix my board game setup if we do this more again in the future, and especially if Wayne would like to join in, which I hope he does. He is the board game king. Shout out to Means and Dice, live board game podcasts on YouTube every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Got a show for my husband there. I love him so very, very, very much. So they have had really cool people call in if you're a big board game nerd. So here we've got Final Nerd. Final Nerd. I'm the nerd. I am the final nerd. We have the Final Girl lore book and lore book scenario. So let's learn a little bit about Hans, shall we? So let's read the introduction. Introduction. The Final Girl game fits in a cinematic world where horrors, both realistic and fantastical, exist. This book is meant to not only give you a glimpse into some of the history of its characters, but also let you play a part in the stories. On the following pages, you will find backgrounds for each of the iconic killers in the game. And if you wish, you can play out events of that killer's film franchise by facing off against them in a unique set of scenarios. Each killer's arc is different. Sometimes a specific Final Girl will be featured. Sometimes the scenarios will occur chronologically, and sometimes they'll be connected only through the killer themselves or a thematic element. As such, it is recommended that scenarios for any killer be played in order if possible, but feel free to jump directly to the scenario of any killer that interests you if you wish. Each scenario should be set up as you would a normal game of Final Girl, but using the specific elements for that scenario. For example, if a scenario lists specific terror cards, those are the cards that should be shuffled or should be used to make the terror deck, but should still be randomly shuffled. In the back of the book, you will find the lore for each of the Final Girl characters, the protagonists of the films, plus a few helpful strategy tips that might help you in playing the game with that particular Final Girl. Okay, so let's take a look at Reiko. Because the scenario that I'm going to play is meant to be played with Lori, but I am swapping her out for Reiko. It shouldn't make that much of a difference based on what I was reading. And if it does, oh well. It's my game. I get to play it however I want. And that's kind of the point also. Play any character with any villain. Do the challenges in the way that you want. Mix and match. Make it interesting for you. Make the lore fun for you. Create your own story. I love games with these really kind of story-based elements. It's like role-playing by yourself, which you can do other ways. But oh, Nessa, I'm sorry. It's also disgustingly hot out here, but I haven't left the house all day. I wasn't feeling too well this morning, so I ended up working from home. I'm feeling much better now, though, which is always good. So let's read about Reiko Rivers. Reiko Rivers was quiet and shy. She was the kid who hated being called on in class, who sat alone at lunch, and was always the last one picked for kickball. Her goal in life was to attract as little attention as possible to herself. At least that was her goal until she discovered track. Reiko didn't want to try out for track, but her parents, in a fit of frustration over her unwillingness to do anything outside of her comfort zone, forced her to. And she discovered she was not only fast, she was really damn fast. She handily left every other girl on the team in a cloud of dust and went on to break every school record as well as win state. Reiko was still quiet, but she was no longer timid as she once been. Why would she need to be when she's the fastest thing on two legs? Tips for playing with Reiko. Reiko is incredibly mobile with 2 bonus move actions for saving victims, and we'll get into saving victims in just a moment. If you can unlock her final ability, use it to get close to the killer and get some damage in before bouncing away to avoid their upcoming attack. Okay, so that's Reiko. Let's learn a little bit about Hans, our pig-faced man. So you're doing a little vacation over like in Toronto area or something like that, or still mad. My trip to Toronto got ruined by COVID in 2020. So it's really fun about hard game. That's okay. All right. So this is Hans, the butcher, the villain of Camp Happy Trails. And this is going to be a little bit of narration. So everyone, sit around for a campfire story. The campers sat around the fire, pretending to listen to another one of Edwin's famous spooky stories. Some were giggling, others were checking their phones, but all of them were pissing the counselor off. Listen up, you little piss ants! That got their attention. Clearly the stories haven't been scary enough, so we'll the kitty krill. He paused for effect, which more or less worked. Have you ever heard of Hans? You mean the guy in the piggy mask? Big deal, one smartass threw back in his face. It's called a German shame mask, dipshit. Now listen up! For once they did. I hope someone clips that. It's called a German mask. That's getting added to the channel lore. German shame mask. Yes, Hans and his hot weather. Yes, and his German shame mask. Hans made everyone in the small town of Happy Trails uncomfortable. The boy never spoke, which was part of it. He would tag along with his parents and older siblings whenever they came to town to hawk their wares, standing in the back of the butcher's stall, looking down on everyone. That was also a source of unease, his freakish height. Though he was the youngest child in the Metzger clan, a family of butchers who had immigrated from Germany, he towered over all of them, even Helmut, the family's imposing patriarch. But his height and lack of speech weren't the real reasons the town avoided him and the children ran in fear. It was the wooden pig mask that he wore. That's just my naughty little Liebchen, always too hungry for his own good, Ada, his mother, would say when asked about it. The townsfolk came to understand that Hans was being punished for his gluttony, forced to display his shame for all his sin. His appetite must have been ravenous. He was never seen without the mask, although wet munching sounds could be heard from underneath it. Hans was tolerated because the meat the Metzgers sold out of their stall was better than anything else in town. Putting up with their giant, mask-wearing freak was a small price to pay for chops and ribeyes of this quality. Over time, things changed. Fewer of the children came to the market. They are tending the farm while we are gone. Ada began to waste away. A recent illness, that is all. And Helmut became sallow and hollow-eyed. She is son of hard work, nothing more. Hans's presence remained unchanged, with the exception that his wooden mask had been replaced by a brutal-looking iron one. The residents of Happy Trails said nothing publicly. Privately, They began enjoying their steak dinners less and less. One month, the Metzgers simply didn't appear at the market. No Helmut, no Ida, no Hans, and no prime rib. The town decided to send a small search party to the farm to check on the family. They found it deserted. The house was empty. No animals grazed in the pasture. An eerie quiet lay over the entire property, as if even the birds and insects had left. The last place they looked was the barn, an imposing red structure behind the main homestead that the Metzgers had used as their slaughterhouse. They opened the doors and went inside. Afterwards, the search party refused to talk about what they'd seen. Instead, they burned the barn and the rest of the farm to the ground and walked back to Happy Trails with the look of soldiers returning from war. The Metzgers are gone, is all they would say. The other butchers in town went out of business. The appetite for meat evaporated overnight. Animals began disappearing first. A goat here, a cow there, every so often a beloved family dog, the first child to go missing, shocked Happy Trails, which had always been a safe community. But it was only after the fourth had disappeared that people began to leave. Thomas Hofstetter said he saw an enormous dark shape drag Maria Woodson into the dark. Others said they heard crunching sounds coming from the woods at night. Most believed them and fled. Some remained out of stubbornness. That year was a census year. But when the census takers arrived at Happy Trails, they found it utterly empty. Many of the doors were open with rotting meals on the table, as if the families living there had simply disappeared mid. Eventually, the town was razed and forgotten. Happy Trails, population 0. Years later, this camp was built on top of where the town once was. Over there, Edwin pointed off in the dark, that's where the Metzgers' farmstead used to be. If you listen carefully, you can still hear Hans wandering through the trees, dragging his hammer and munching on something wet and chewy beneath his iron mask. With all the campers turned to look, they heard a wet, crunching sound in the trees. Right on cue, they screamed! With some hightailing it away in the opposite direction, Edwin began to laugh. You little punks! Yeah, we planned that. He was hiding in the woods, waiting to make his Hans noise when I finished the story. The last thing Edwin heard was a sickening crunch as his own skull collapsed in a geyser of bone and scarlet. The immense figure behind him, in an iron pig mask, hoisted the giant hammer, now slick with blood, and surveyed the remaining campers, some fleeing into the woods and others frozen in fear, flickering in the flickering firelight. It looked as if the mask was smiling. Hans could not help but admire the lovely buffet that had been delivered to his home, like pigs to the slaughter. Same vibes as I'm not familiar with that. Is that like a podcast? Or I'm terribly bad about listening to podcasts, even though I would love listening to podcasts. I know. Um, all right, so let's talk a little bit about the game. Uh, Actually, first let me do the scenario. Oh, I'm not familiar with that. I'll have to look into it. Thank you. My, I have a weird relationship with horror material. I enjoy it, but I only enjoy it in small doses in the exact amount that I want it. Like, I enjoyed the very first Saw movie a lot. I enjoy it because it's a psychological thriller that leaves a lot of the torture to the imagination and only really goes in on some of the more gruesome stuff at the end. I do not like the Saw franchise because At some point, it becomes about showing us the traps. I don't need to see. I don't need to see somebody skinned. I just don't. I don't need to see people with razor. I don't need to see people cut in half. It's just not my bag. Psychological horror, great. Make me afraid that something is going to happen. Let my imagination fill in the blanks. That's my bag. Or I do sometimes like a really gory zombie flick. I don't know why zombies seem to be slightly immune from that. So the scenario that we're going to do is the very first one in the book called The Night of the Living Pig. As I mentioned, it's typically supposed to be done with Lori, but I'm doing it with Reiko because I feel like it. So let me read out the scenario so that we know exactly what it is that we're putting here. Night of the Pig. Lori, Reiko, had never wanted to come to camp, much less participate in the annual nighttime treasure hunt. But her girlfriend, Diversity, has been very convincing. It'll be fun, babe. Come on, do it for me. Lori never could say no to Lucy. Within minutes of the starting whistle, they'd become separated. Now Lori was lost and becoming angrier by the minute. Her anger turned to fear when the screams began. She frantically began searching for something to use as a weapon, anything, when she remembered the new camp director was a pacifist and had gotten rid of the archery, wood carving, and anything resembling a weapon. Damn it, Lucy! What have you gotten yourself into? Lucy would have to make do with her hands if she and Lucy were going to survive the night with whatever was out there in the dark. Ooh, that's going to be a hard one. Final girl, Lori, which instead we're going to have Reiko. Setup is treasure hunt. Okay. So that's why I wanted to take a look at the scenario, because the scenario will tell us what card to use. Now, here in Camp Happy Trails, or here always, in whatever box, that you'll have a bunch of setup cards. Setup cards will tell you how you need to set up the board. So we're going to be going with the treasure hunt setup, which so it's a little hard to see. But what you can kind of see here, come on, you're not going to focus on very well, are you? Can we see it a little bit better? Nope, we can't see it any better there. So what you'll see here in a minute is that the setup card, if you see that yellowish blob on the, I believe, yeah, the left-hand side with the longer hair, that's our final girl. That is our final girl location. The big K is the killer. That is where the killer's location is going to be on the map. Throughout the map, where you see kind of like the ones and twos and whatnot, those are the victims. Victims are basically your NPCs. So let's get... And as the final girl, the one and only competent person here, your goal is to try to save the victims, as well as kill the killer. So, as you can see from Reiko's card here, she has the little meeples here. As she saves victims, she gains additional powers and additional abilities. Now, I can unlock these abilities in any order that I want. And as I mentioned about her special ability, if you manage to fill in all of them, she gets a special ability, which is noted on the back, which allows her to move around the board pretty quickly for strike and runs on the bad guy. So we're going to keep Reiko's card here in the... what's the word I'm looking for? In the Final Girl space. Yes, space that says Final Girl. Final Girl. And let's finish the setup. The setup has our little guys here. Now, I'm doing it the way that actually the Let's Play video I did had it set up. I'm just going to put them on their sides here so it's easy for you all to see on stream how many are in a given place. Obviously, if you are playing this actually on your own, you can stand them up, no big deal. And I know it's going to be a little hard for you all to tell the difference between our final girl and our hunts here. One of these days we will actually paint these. Which, we just got them, so. So let me make sure I've got, that's 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. 2. Now, one important thing to note about, well, let's go over some life stuff real quick. So, as you can see here on this side of the board, we have the life meter. You may also notice that Hans seems to be at a bit of an advantage. Reiko only has a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, yes, the 6, whereas Hans has 12. This last little one here is also an actual heart point. But when I get down, if I ever get down to that, there are some special rules that I'll go ahead and enact that. Now, one might ask, Panda, how can you possibly survive if he can hit you and take out, and you can lose a bunch of health all at once like that? Like, if he has so much more health than you, other than, obviously we have some healing cards down here, and we'll get to that eventually, doesn't necessarily want to take out the final girl first. And that is one of the big rules of this game. The final girl is trying to kill the killer and rescue the victims, but don't forget she is the final girl, which means that a lot of the time the killer is going to take out the victims before he takes out the final girl. Now, as he takes out victims, he becomes more and more powerful, but it does mean that, Reiko may not get hit immediately. In fact, one of the base rules of the game is that unless a card says otherwise, if, say, Hans was in here with this victim right here and he had to attack and kill somebody, this goes for the victim, not the final girl. The final girl remains untouched. She manages to get away. Let's keep on doing some setup based on this. In the items, I'm going to pull out some items here. We're going to pull out the pepper spray, the energy drink, the Lucky Rabbit's Foot. Where are you, Lucky Rabbit's Foot? There we go, Lucky Rabbit's Foot. The Bear Trap. The trash can lid. The fireworks. And we'll get to what all these do. I know I need the mysterious pills. The fireworks. The whistle. The first aid kit. And the flashlight. So this, as the scenario notes, this is a situation where you're very, very light on weapons. Hello, my love! Normally, if you're playing the with outside of the Night of the Big scenario, in these items you might have an axe or an archery bow or even a gun. In fact, one thing that is not going to make it into this game is Reiko's special weapon, which is an axe, which is, I don't know if you can see the figurine very well, probably can't, but she actually has an axe slung over her shoulder. So her special weapon is not in the game. Which is sad for me because it does a lot of extra damage. So, here we go ahead. I'm going to shuffle these up and we're going to create We're still talking through the beginning. I was reading through the lore to give everyone an idea of what was happening. And now we're going to create our item decks. It feels like I don't have the right number of items. I should have 4. Well, it says items 11. Am I short on items? Oh, yeah. Okay, so the treasure hunt deck shorts you on items. Fantastic. I don't know why I'm doing this with a, you know what? Urgh. As my second time through, I don't know if I should be doing this with a, as much as I like the idea of a scenario, I don't know if I should be putting myself at a disadvantage. Who knows? Who cares? What's the worst thing that happens? We die? All right, so the items here. We die, but hilariously. Hilariously. So, the deal with items is you have the cabins, the dock, and the utility shed, which are all areas on the board here. This is the cabins, this is the utility shed, and this is the dock. If you could see the board a little bit, you can kind of see this little yellow, this little dot up here. If you were to see it a little bit closer, you would see that it is, in fact, a little wrench to kind of show that this is a tool shed of some kind or a place where you keep tools. So I can go ahead and if I make it to one of those locations, search and get one of those items or pull then we can go in that one if I ever once I actually get there. Events. I need events 2. Thanks, babe. Thanks for subscribing with Prime. Subscription, 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 subscription. I don't have alerts at all. All right, so we're going to go with Stubborn Kids and Girlfriend. She won't die because she's gay. What's the world coming to? The event cards should be in the order that they're listed with Stubborn Kids on top. Nope, I grabbed Boyfriend instead of Girlfriend, huh? Girlfriend. Okay. Event deck. So I guess that also changes the number of events. Hold on. I need to refer. I think you did. I think you forgot to sub 1 month. We're gonna get divorced over it. What do we do with the event cards? Excuse me one moment, please. It's not even noted. All right. Well, I guess we only have the 2 events, so that's what I'm gonna go with. Camp Happy Trails Terror cards. fire, and let's go see if the rumors are true. You know, I'm getting more and more because the reason I'm inclined to maybe just go back to the standard rules is just because I don't know at this point if I'm only supposed to have 2 tarot cards in the deck. It's like it did mention on one of the other ones. That's 3. Okay, no, I have to pull out some of Hans's tarot cards and some of Camp Happy Trails tarot cards. Okay, so Camp Happy Trails tarot cards are fire, and let's go see if the rumors are true. Fire. Let's go see if the rumors are true. Now, what's important about these are, as I mentioned, these are related specifically to the Camp Happy Trails scenario itself. Wouldn't mind seeing a vanilla play. Yeah, you know what? Let's just do a vanilla playthrough. I think I'm making it. I'm gonna keep this the same way it is. That doesn't matter. We can just pretend that I chose it randomly. But I don't know the game well enough to start myself at a disadvantage. So let's go back. Let's redo. So in last case, let me go through the actual card setup then. Let's choose a killer, shuffle all the killers, finale cards. Those with the killer's upper body and place one face down so it aligns with the art on the board. The killer's dark power card. Okay. So, we've got 2 cards that we will not know what they say or what they're about at the beginning of this game that are attributable to Hans. One is what we call his finale card. That's when things really go to hell, and we're in the end game now, baby. He's pulling special abilities. Everything is really difficult. We've run out of the terror deck. And then here at the bottom, we have the Dark Power card. That is a special ability that he will unlock if we start doing very poorly and this track starts getting filled. Right about here, his Dark Power unlocked. We've got a little bit of time before the Dark Power comes out if we're doing this well. Okay. So here is the Terror deck. Now, as I was saying, the Terror deck has 2 pieces to it. It has stuff that is specific to location and stuff that is specific to Hans. I am going to shuffle this together. I'm very bad at shuffling, which is why I'm glad we're doing why I'm not quite on screen for this. And then we're going to deal out 10 cards to our Terror deck. This is how things will go very poorly. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there goes our terror deck. Woo, that was scary. It was scary. Um, okay. Now for the item cards, we have we're going to do the full item setup, which is more items than what we saw. So that is shuffle the items together and deal 3 piles of 4 face down cards above each location on the board. Then flip up the top card, each pile face up. Place the remaining item cards back in the plastic tray. So, one thing I'm going to do with this game, because I'm going to leave some of it up to fate, is that there is. Find it. I believe there is an X in here. There is a standard axe in here. This way. If I pull the standard axe, what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to swap it out with Reiko's special axe. Which is, as you can see here, is Reiko's axe. Reiko, I'm not exactly sure how to say her name. I apologize in advance to anyone listening to it who says. So for this, the regular axe is a two-handed weapon that does 2 points of damage. 2 points of damage, it would knock off 2 hearts here. That's pretty cool, right? And that's all it does. For this version, though, which can only be used with this character, they're very specific. Like, do not put this in your game unless this character is in the game. Reiko's axe. The bigger they are, the harder they fall, especially with this baby in my hand. Still the same, it's a two-handed weapon, does 2 points of damage. However, you may roll an additional die when resolving the weak attack action card. So if you're doing a basic attack, which is basically a basic attack, a very basic attack, you actually get to roll an additional die to help you hit the killer. So we're putting that off to the side. But, dude, I mean, it is a sleepaway camp. It is probably full of boys of questionable odor. I mean, let's be real. One of my goals in life is to make sure that my son never uses Axe body spray. I might fail at this goal, but I really don't want him to. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. Right? That's... Yes. Okay. I mathed correctly. All right. So, our first item. The bear trap. Can be found immediately in the cabin. The motorboat keys can immediately be found in the cabin. So let's take a quick look and see what we're looking at first. The bear trap. It's a bear trap. Anybody who steps on this is going to have a really, really bad day. You spend time, which we'll get to in a moment, to place the bear trap token in your space, not the lake. The killer enters the space of the bear trap, discard the token immediately, and end the killer phase. The killer receives 2 points of damage. So, ways to hurt the killer. Okay, motorboat keys. The motorboat token at the closest space bordering the water. Spend time to use the boat to travel to any other space bordering the water. A victim may come with you. Or victims may come with you. And the final one is the old revolver. Ooh. You can only modify a weak attack action card, and very importantly, it is a ranged weapon that can only be Old Swagger Spice Bio. No, the Old Spice ain't that bad. I'll go with Old Spice. And that's one thing with the weapons in this game. The weapons can only be used at the range that they're noted on the card. So there is no point blank shot of the revolver. If the killer and I were standing in the same square and I have the revolver, I freak out and I drop the gun because he's too close. Not really, but thematically, like I can't bring myself to pull the trigger. However, if I'm here, I can shoot him from a square away. Hey, Wayne. I'm busy. Like I got shadows on my face. I know. I think that light just needs to be brought up a little, but I don't want to step away again. Yeah, can you help me with the light over here? Like I've got so much shadow on my face. I just yeah, put it up so that at least it's not. At least everyone can see my beautiful face now. Hello, Mora Text. Yes, Mora Text makes a appearance in person. Yes, actually, that's significantly better. I know he's so beautiful. I love him. All right, so those are the beginning of the items, and you can kind of get an idea how items can help you. Got the location card, got the setup card already done. Got the health marker. Lust marker is down at the bottom, as it should be. The timer is at the midway point, which is where it should be. We'll talk about time in a second. The killer meeple, the second killer meeple. Where is the second here? Killer meeple. The circular horror track on the player board's meeple is now the horror marker. Oh, here we go. He is there. So he has a starting horror of 4. Yeesh. I assume there's ways for me to make it back down. We see what it up. I lost it very, very quickly the other day. So I might be going through this very intense setup to lose very, very fast. The health markers are on the board. Shuffle the location's event card and place them face down next to the location board. Draw the top card. Possibly adding new victims, introducing new victims. Okay. So we'll do the event in just un momento. But I do want to show this so that we understand this for setup, because it's one of those things that. So as you can see, we've got the killer's health, we've got my health, and then we've got at the very end, we've got this little marker here. It's actually a little token, and I'm being very, very careful not to look at the bottom of it. Because, as you can guess, once all your health is done in the direction of appropriateness, you are dead. Maybe. Maybe. Because what happens at the end of that turn is that you flip it over. If you flip it over and it's blank, you're dead. If you flip it over and it had any number of hearts, you can have 1 to 3 hearts on it, you came back. And that applies to both Hans and Reiko. It's one of those very dramatic, I thought you were dead moments. And so this 1 heart would give you 1 heart back. I know there's a 2 heart and there's a 3 heart that would give you that many hearts back. When I played the other day, the killer had a 3 heart back, and that is why I lost so badly. So badly. I also think I didn't play it quite right. That's why I'm kind of wanting to do this again with some accountability. So, oh, wrong book. All right, and then said the final phase is, of course, the event cards. So this is Camp Happy Trails event cards. You can tell that because they've got the marker for Camp Happy Trails on it. So we'll get to a lot of these other spaces as they become important. Actually, those don't need to be there. I'm going to put those off to the side. Right, so we're going to go ahead and put the event deck down. All right, well, apparently we still got stubborn kids. One less victim will follow. I think that is an ongoing. That sucks. Yeah, the location and place them face down next to the location board. Draw the top card and follow the instructions on the card. Possibly enemy victims, introducing effect on gameplay, etc. Okay. So, we have 5 phases. The action phase, which will involve me and these cards. The planning phase, the killer phase, the panic phase, and the upkeep phase. So, the action phase. I think I start with all action cards. Do I start with all action cards? Five. Set the 6/0 cost action cards aside. That is my starting hand. Okay. Okay. So, the action phase, we go ahead and we use our action cards. And we have a bunch of abilities here. These are the 0 cost action cards. These are cards that tend to be pretty weak, but are pretty easy for me to get back at the end of the phase after spending all of my actions during the upkeep phase. Or yes. I don't know why I'm shuffling them. I don't need to. I was taking a moment to think. So let's walk through. I'm gonna make sure that I don't forget anything about the cards. So, for example, when you look at the cards here, you've got what the ability is. You've got a really good roll, a kind of good roll, and a failed roll result on each one of them. Because whenever you try to play an action card, you roll these 6 dice. And there are ways to have dice taken from you, and there are ways to get more dice. Once again, the game will tell you when that is appropriate. Each die has 2 stars, 2 cards, and 2 blank spaces. They're also numbered in case you need to have them numbered for any reason, or want to introduce another random element. Stars are successes. Cards mean you can discard action cards to make a die a success. So you have a 1 out of 3 chance of succeeding, a 1 out of 3 chance of having the ability to change your roll, and a 1 out of 3 chance of failing entirely. If you roll a blank, you have failed. Too bad. So sad. So, I'm sorry. And I said you roll all 6 dice. That is incorrect. My bad. I'm actually only going to roll 2 dice because of where the horror track is right now. Because a boy here is on the 4, I only get to roll 2 dice, which is a challenge because most of the successes, as you can see here, have 2 things for the best version, a 1 for an okay version, and ooh, you hurt when you don't get any successes at all, including losing health. It says other cards more of the roll. We can deal. This tells me what the other abilities or the other icons on the cards mean. We'll get to that when that is appropriate. There is. We can do movements. We can say victims. All right. So let's just start. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is I want a victim to double check something on. Now that it says one less victim will follow me, I just want to make sure that I understand exactly what that means. How I save victims. Just wait for the killer. One less victim will follow you. I don't understand how that works if there is only one victim on the square. I didn't run into this one last time. Because it says one less victim will follow me, but I can take up to 2 victims. So if there's only one victim, does that mean that I can't take any victims? That sucks. There are ways of getting more than one victim. The victims themselves will move around. We'll get to that. Are we okay with me taking a mulligan and changing the event on this one? Because this was one of the reasons that I actually didn't want to do the special version. Is that I'm gonna take a mulligan on that. Sorry, everyone. I just want everyone. I definitely want to, but I will choose an event that is not beneficial. Right, let's do this one. And then I will take out Stubborn Kid since I'm not entirely clear on that one. I will look that up at some point in time and clarify later. But we have Star-Crossed Lovers, which I think is also something that does not benefit me. Star-Crossed Lovers, when there are exactly 2 victims on a space and one of them is killed, the other one immediately dies as well. So it's very possible for the killer to get a 2 for 1 there. So I did not take an event that benefits me, only one that hurts me. I'm not sure if there are really that many events that can benefit you all that much. Well, yeah, there are a few, but... I did play this the other day, but I was very confused through most parts of it, so... Okay. And yes, so yes, the thing to do right now then is to use my action cards. So I am going to go for a walk. I'm going to take 2 dice. Roll it. And woo! Look at them stars! Look at them! Oh, yeah! So I've used that card for this turn. And I am going to take a little walk. 1, 2. I'm going to pick up both of them. Now, what I'm doing right now is I'm saying, hey, let's, okay, and as part of that, I also move the timer down. Talk about the timer in just a minute. Oh, no, it only goes down 1. Yes, okay, so it goes down 1. Because if I rolled badly, it would have gone down 2. Okay, so it goes down 1 timer. And I'm now hanging out in the cabins, and I'm like, hey, what's up? What is happening? Okay. Now, you may go, hey, you're in the cabin. You can grab that item, right? No, I can't. Why? Because I don't have in my hand right now a search card. That's what all of these other cards down here are, and why your time management is so important. Each one of these cards down here, if you look at the bottom here, for example, the search card, has a cost in time that I need to pay in order to put the card in my hand. Which means, yes, I can go ahead and go down this track and use up all my time, but if I use up all my time, the only thing I can buy back into my hand are 0-point cards. So time is legitimately of the essence. Now, also to note, I have now used this particular action card, so that card is out of my hand. I cannot use it again this round. Take a quick look. Decrease a little parlor going. Now, what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna take a moment. Now that I've got my people here, I'm gonna take a moment and try to focus. My goal on the focus, if I get 1 or 2 cards, is to bring this horror level down just a smidge. Now, if I'm really lucky, I can bring the horror level down and I can bring the timer back up. If I do okay, I can still bring the horror level down by 1. That's that Jason Max with the X across it. But I still lose a moment of time while we're focusing. If I don't get anything at all, I just lose 2 units of time, and that would suck. Now I'm going to roll nothing. Oh, I called that, baby! Yeah, that sucked. All right, I'm gonna try to walk. I'm gonna try to walk again. I got another walk card and here's a strategy on walking: is that I am trying to save victims. How do you save victims? You save victims by getting them to squares that have, if you can kind of see this little icon over here, it's actually a door icon. It's basically an exit door. If I can get these 2 victims here, I've saved them. They're gone. They're out of the game. They're on my card, and I have used. I have gotten a benefit from that. All right. So I still lose 1 time, but I get to take these guys with me. 1 space. I'll take a quick look at the upkeep phase to make sure I don't want to stop here. I think I can. At any point the action phase ends, you may discard as many action cards as you wish for +1 time. Give you more speed during the planning phase. Blah 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 blah. I think I do want to stop here. Sorry, everyone. I'm just making sure that I understand this particular rule here. Like I said, I think I played a rule wrong, and I don't know whether or not that made it worse or better for me. All right. So I don't want, so the big thing is I don't want to use up all of my cards this turn, because if I use up all of my cards this turn, I have no cards next turn. So I actually don't have any walk cards next turn, which kind of sucks. Yeah, that's what I thought I had done. Dang it. It's okay. What I can do, 1, 2, is grab a sprint. Well, no, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm in the planning phase, so I'm ending the action phase, and I'm going straight into the planning phase. So I can purchase my time card. So I'm going to purchase a sprint. Since I have no walks, I'm going to reset this to 6. And then we return all action cards to the tableau. So one good thing is all of these 0-point cards that I just put back, the next planning phase, I can pull them all back into my hand. I think I had. That's fine. Yeah, because that's 2, 0. That wouldn't count. Okay. All right. So now that we are done with the planning phase, we go with the killer phase. So let me make sure that I'm doing everything here exactly as it needs to be done. Correct, blah, 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 packing, blah, 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 horror level, blah, blah, planning phase. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, so the killer phase. During this phase, the killer acts or other location-related things will happen. Resolve in the following order. Resolve the killer action as indicated on the finale card associated with K. If the finale card has been revealed, skip to resolve the killer action as indicated. Okay. I was like, wait a second, we don't flip the finale card yet. That was a weird phrasing. Has been revealed. Skip step 2. Okay, so the first thing he's going to do is he's going to move and kill. So, well, first thing he's going to actually first thing he's going to do is if he is on a square with any characters, he will kill them. Yes, because there's no movement there. It's just murder, right? Just the murder. Murder. It's going to target the first one and murder. Now we flip the terror card and resolve its effect from top to bottom. Fire! Roll a die to determine which space bursts into flames. 1, 2, the cabins. 3, 4. As I said, you sometimes need a die with a number on it. All victims in that space are killed. Discard all item cards from that space. Oh no! 5. So there's a fire at the dock. Oh, and they've been murdered. I don't know if that counts as a death. I got this card last time, but there was nobody in the space. So I don't know if that counts as a death that benefits him or if that's just a terrible thing that happened. Dun, 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 dun. Each victim only has 1 health. Defending against the attack with the retaliation card. Alright, well, I believe this does count for him, but let me make sure. Hey, Ben?
Yeah.
Do you know that if a victim is killed for any reason, does that count as the victim, as the killer getting an upper hand? In a fire that randomly sprung up at the docks.
I don't think so. I'm not sure.
Because I know the panic phase says it doesn't matter how they were killed.
I would say no. If it said the panic phase doesn't kill, then it would entirely against the bill. The villain didn't actually kill him.
What says? The killer will get stronger each time the game goes on and more victims perish. Each is represented by the bloodlust. Each time a victim is killed, and anytime you see the bloodlust icon.
Anytime.
It says anytime.
Yeah.
Alright, it counts. Dang it. So, 1, 2. He got 2 freebies. 2 freebies. This is why this game is really, really tough. Bid! Very well, horror movie. But also, everything at the docks goes up in flames. So, the motorboat key. Oh man, that's actually really appropriate. The motorboat key is gone. Flashlight is gone. The fireworks are gone. And the energy drink is gone. Farewell. So making sure that I do the killer phase in the correct order. So we've resolved the terror card. Neither one of us were in the space that were on fire, so nobody loses a heart. Okay, so that is actually the end of the killer phase because he doesn't move. He doesn't have any additional movement. I think so. Yeah, that just means kill. It means if there's a meeple in the same spot as you, you kill them. That is. Target closest victim or final girl. Now that's. If the victim, the final girl, whoever's closest. He does move. Okay, so he moves 1. This is where I got confused last time. Force a killer, the victim of the final girl. So action involves the killer choosing a target, then moving and attacking and explain below. So he moves. No, okay. So actually, no, he doesn't move because there's no move icon in there. I think he only moves if there's if there's terror. That gives him move. Yeah. Yes. So he cannot. He is not moving this turn, which gives me some small hope. I think that's where I screwed up last. I think I ended the game too early because I kept thinking that I had to move towards the victim each time, and then I looked it up later, and that was not the case. And that is where I ended my game a little prematurely last time. yes, I will double check this again, but since it is just a choose a victim attack, and there's no like little boot, like there's no killer moves action in there. It's not that you're moving. You can only move when there's a boot action for the killer to move. Um, so, so fortunately, he doesn't get to move right now. We have the panic phase, which really kind of sucks because if fire hadn't broken out, we could have skipped the panic phase all entirely. And uh, my victims in my own square might actually run away and make their own lives difficult. So, after the killer phase, you must check to see if any victims will panic. The final girl does not panic during the panic phase. Of course she doesn't. She's the final girl. There needs to be at least one victim killed this turn. We had 2 victims killed this turn. Thanks, fire. Or the victim is in the same space as the killer. There are no victims in the same space as the killer. To resolve this panic, roll a die for the victim and consult the number of spaces on the board. Move the victim as indicated or leave them where they are if the number rolled isn't shown. Repeat this process for each victim that panics. If multiple victims will panic, you can choose the order. Well, victims will not follow you into the same space. Okay. So at the end of the killer phase, for example, this is the example that they use. Hans has killed the 2 victims and ended up at the fireplace with 3 additional victims and the final girl. Because victims died this turn, we will check to see which victims panic. The 3 victims at the fire pit, who say if they were in the same square together, will panic because they share the same space as the killer. The final girl and the victim in the space to the east of the killer will not panic. Okay, so actually, the victim to the east of the killer. Why does that one? Okay, so no, my guys do not panic. Nobody here panics because nobody was here in the same square. Yeah, so it's okay. That and was confusing. All right, so someone has to die, and those meeples and you have to be in the same space as the killer. Okay. Jesus, I did play this wrong the first time around. I don't know what I was doing. What am I? And to note, victims, this I did know, victims will not you cannot bring victims past the killer into a space even if they could be saved. However, victims can sometimes panic into the killer's space. So, all right. So we are skipping the panic phase, and we have the upkeep phase. Okay. So the upkeep phase. Most times there'll be little or nothing you need to do in the upkeep phase, but make sure you're aware of any effects or events that special rules require you to do something in this phase. Do the following in this order. First, we do the finale check. If there are no tarot cards left in the tarot deck, reveal the finale card. We have plenty of tarot cards left in the tarot deck. Perform any required upkeep indicated by events. Nothing there. If you wish, you may rearrange any items to and from your backpack in your hands. Basically, if I have stuff, I can have a bunch of stuff. I can have as much stuff as I want. That's what this is. I can have a bunch of stuff in my backpack. I can only have a limited number of items in my hand. So if I have a 2-handed weapon, that's taking up both of my hands. Everything else needs to be in the backpack. If I've got a trash can and a knife, well, that's one hand, and nothing else can be in the. Everything else is in the backpack. And only during the upkeep phase can you move stuff between. That I did know. All right. So we are now back to the start of the action phase. I am going to again, try to focus. I think I'll get a focus back this round. I'm going to discard the short rest since I didn't get damaged. Oh no, I need to do 2. Short rest and weak attack to give myself 1 thing to bring that back. Ugh, that was sucky. Trying to give myself more dice. No, we're gonna sprint. We're gonna sprint and try to save these ones. All right, that is still. Oh wait, that focus still cost me. Yeah. So it cost me that. This one cost me that. Now it cost me a little bit to sprint, but I can move. Sprint allowed me to move 2 spaces. I'm going to take the 1. I believe I can just drop off the 1. I think that's what the Let's Play video said. The saving victims is that you can drop 1 off. Yep, even just passing through any. Yep. Okay. So it's exactly what just happened. So I'm running through to here, but as we left, I went, get the hell out of here! And now I've saved 2 victims. Do not want to move 1 more space. I'm going to go ahead and put that there, which gives me 2 back here. I'm going to put this here, which allows me to take the planning card immediately and put that in my hand. This is a very powerful card. This gives me a bunch of extra dice to roll. I'm not fooling around. I'm doing this as early as I can. And then that's the end of the cards that I have. I'm just going to go ahead and hold the planning card. Since I can't move, I can't walk anywhere, I'm going to call it. But as you can see, I've got a boatload of time left. I've got six units of time. That's going to allow me to do a bunch of stuff here. In the planning phase goes first? Yes, in the planning phase. So first thing I can do is I can take all of my 0 cards back into my hand, which is really good because I screwed up and used all of my walk cards too fast. I'm going to spend 1 to take a close call. The close call will allow me to re-roll any 1 die, or I can re-roll all my dice by taking a little bit of time away. I've got 5. It's very rare that I'm going to have this much. So I'm going to go ahead and take the search. So that's going to take 1, 2. Yeah. So now I've got 2 left. I'm gonna grab. Nope, that's a 3. I need a 2. I'm gonna go ahead and grab a guard card. Keep in my hands. Now I do have a hand limit. It is 10 cards, but I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards at the moment. So I'm good. I'm under the hand limit. Let's flip these 0 cards back over. It's nice. I got a little bit of an engine going. Now we've got the killer phase. Killer is not in the same square as anyone. He's not going to hurt anybody. And now we get to draw a terror card. He just keeps coming. He's going to target the nearest anyone. He's going to move one towards them. And if he was in the square with anyone, he would murder them. He is not in a murdery square. So once again, we're okay for the moment. Panic phase, we're going to skip entirely. Nobody was killed. No one was killed in the square there. We are in the upkeep phase. There's nothing to upkeep. There's no abilities here that needs to be upkept. There's no new events. And I don't have any upkeep abilities going. All right. So let's get a move on. See, this is going to be hard. This is that's ugly. I might just need to abandon them to their fate. So let's. Yeah, you need to get a feel for the rhythm. You need to remember what the actual rules are. See, it's starting to come back to me. It's all coming back, sure coming back to me now. All right, so we're at the action phase. So back up to the action phase. We go back here. I'm just gonna try to walk and get and see if I can just get this one. Let's see. Try something. God damn it. You can re-roll all dice. Alright, I'm going to play the close call to re-roll one die. Okay, that's better. I can move up to one space. Going back this way. This one is saved. I can move one space again. Now the question is, do I go down here and try to save them down here? Or I can go in here and and do some searching. Ah! I might be leaving the utility kids, shed kids to their fate. I believe that walk gave me that. Check something real quick. Sorry. What's the next total? Okay, so yeah. I don't know if I want to waste that. All right, I'm going to try to focus. Okay, that didn't go as bad as it could. It still took one down though. I've got to, yeah, those utility shed kids are probably dying next turn. Yeah, I'm gonna call it because otherwise I don't have any movement next turn. I'm screwing myself over on movement next turn. All right. The Christmas one? Oh, that'll be fun. Haha. Mrs. Claus and Krampus. So yes, we're gonna go ahead. We've got 4. So I'm gonna grab a sprint. Oh, did I accidentally put the sprint back in here? I did. That's another thing. Once you use a card, it needs to go back into its appropriate spot. It doesn't just become part of your hand forever, and you have to rebuy it. So yeah, I'm grabbing a sprint. So that is 1, 2. And got 2 more. I'm going to grab the other close call. So I have that in my hand, and then we're going to call at the end of the action round. We are back to upkeep. No, I was in planning phase. Never mind. It was the end of the action round. I was already in planning phase. Let's put everything else where it needs to be. Okay, and I'm pulling these back into my hand. Now I actually think I'm 2 heavies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So yes, I'm 1 over. I am going to discard short rest because I don't need to heal yet. Who knows? Then the killer phase. So we do the killer action. He's not in the square with anyone. Terror. Place 2 new victims on the square where the killer started the game. Okay? So victims are coming out. Idiots, you should have kept hiding. And we have a new event. Increase the terror level by 1, and then we have a new event. You just got that terror level down, you guys! Dark Waters. Yeah. Place the Dark Waters token at the lake. All victims at the lake are killed. Whenever a victim enters the lake, they are killed immediately. Ah, fantastic. So the lake is deadly. That changes stuff I was going to do. I was going to go swimming in the lake. I was going to try to take the victim across the lake with me. I guess that's not happening anymore. I guess everything is the long way around now. Or I have to run through the I can run through his space. That doesn't hurt me at all. Terror level rising. All right. So that was the terror card, killer phase, panic phase. There's no panic. Upkeep phase. There's no upkeep. And we're back to me. All right. I can only have 2 victims with me at any given time. Right? Pretty sure that's the case. I have to confuse. Let's see. When leaving a space containing 1 or more victims, you top up 2 victims to you. Yeah, that stubborn thing. Yeah, is a little bit too much because I think that does mean that no victims follow you. which sucks. You have to have at least 2 victims in a space for them to follow you, and that for the level that I'm playing at right now, that's a bit much. All right, so we are in action phase. Should I try to focus again? Focusing never seems to work right. You know what? Let's do it. Yeah, the stubborn mechanic basically means that if there's only, you have to have at least 2 or more in a square to get anyone to a space to come with you. That's Jesus. All right. So I used that. All right, I'm gonna close call it again, I guess. I really want to get that 3rd dice. Damn it! I'm gonna throw down the focus and the weak attack to actually make one a success, and move that back down 1, but we still lose the time. I'm going to try to sprint. Ooh, all right. At least I got 1. We're gonna run right through the space here with the killer. I still have a walk. Oh. And that does mean I go down 1. I want to get at least one more square away. Everyone? Everyone? I need 2. I need 2 stars on this. Only 1 star. All right, well, that's still better than nothing. Oh, actually, I only needed 1. Get the out of here. That is an exit square. I did not realize that was an exit square. Get the hell out. All right, so I cover this up, which still allows me to move 1 space. If I was able to go to the docks and search for it, I would, but the docks were on fire. I could have healed something if I had fought the. Now I'm actually doing okay. I'm feeling as though I'm doing something. Either I played this really wrong the other day, or I am playing it wrong now. I'm not sure which one. Okay. So we are returning them. Now, this is where things get interesting with Reiko, because I didn't save this many victims last time. So I think I was playing some rule wrong. So once per action phase, if the enemy is within 2 spaces, I may move to the enemy space for free. What does that mean? That means I get a lot of free movement, everybody. I get a lot of free movement. Like, I am not within 2 spaces right now, but say I had stayed here. I wanted to jump to the enemies. Well, that actually ain't a bad idea. No, I can't do it. I wouldn't be able to move them out. Nope, I can't. I don't have the movement. If said I had a bunch of sprint cards, I was here. I could have free moved back here. popped in there and tried to run back here with these two. We're like, running! We're running by! Dumb killer man. But I don't have the movement to do that. So, like I said, but seeing utility teens, you're the star-crossed lovers making out because as soon as he kills one, both of them are going to die because that is the event that we have here, which sucks for me. As that is one piece later to the dark power. So do I draw one turret card? There's one thing on the chart there that I'm a little unsure of. Give me 1 second. I know what that means. I'm not quite sure what that means. Discard the next tarot card. 8. 7. How many spaces is travel? Okay. Okay. We will get to that. That's where I got screwed up last time. He got a little bit up there, and then all of a sudden he was able to move around the board like a freaking maniac. So yeah, I think I'm done with the action phase. Yeah, because if I move any more, I'm not gonna have any walk cards. All right, so. All right, yeah, those roll 0 cards, those roll 0 cards. All right, so I am going to, once again, I have 4. So I'm going to throw Retaliate in my hand because I don't know if I'm going to have an opportunity to do it again later. Retaliate is a great card, and it's not a bad idea to have in your hand if you can. If you get the good version, you get to, because eventually he's going to start attacking me. I get to ignore all the damage from his attack, plus hit him back for 1, or put him back for 2. The best version, the other one is reduce 2, hit back for 1, and then of course if you fail, too bad, so sad. All right. So we are at the killer phase. He is not in the room with anyone. That may change in a minute. They're dead. They're very dead. They're so dead. They're like, we're safe. We're in the utility shed. He's never gonna find us. No. Let Pig Batman. Bang, bang, bang. Ah, no, we're dead. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Kissy sounds. I mean, especially since at this point you got to know that somebody is running around. Maybe they didn't know that he was running around. But yes. So 1, 2. We haven't quite hit dark power yet. At the next one things start going to hell for me. Because the dark power will come out, whatever that is, and he will start hitting. Well, he's already starting to hit harder. Oh, that goes up. I keep pulling it down and just putting it right back up. Oh, and there that one also went up. So yeah, I got to keep putting that down because I'm going to get up to one thing where I can only roll 1 die if I don't keep it on. No, we're still trying to defeat Hans the Butcher. I'm doing surprisingly okay, but he's also doing unfortunately okay, and the board is against me. The lake is acid now. Yes, we are trying to escape the killer in Camp Happy Trails. And I am playing Reiko, the track star, who can move around pretty fast if she needs to, and is just trying to save as many victims as she can. Oh, one other important thing about her abilities that I forgot to mention. From now on, whenever she saves a victim, the time chart goes up by 1 for that turn. So saving victims is still very beneficial for me, as killing victims for him. So. All right, so I only have the walk option to move, and I feel like I need to keep moving at this point. I've only got 1 walk card, so we're gonna walk. Ah, finally something goes my way. This goes down 1, and I've picked up 1, 2 more victims to save. See, I actually need to start getting to killing him as well, which is part of my issue at the moment, is that I can save as many people as I want, but I actually have to at some point start attacking him, or he needs to come to me, and so I can start retaliate attacking him. But yeah, Chris, we're probably going to keep on going for a little bit, because I'm either going to die very soon, like once the final girl and the bad guy start butting heads, that's where it went south for me very, very, very quickly. And like I said, I actually managed to pull off a bunch of really lucky strikes, and then got him down somehow because I set up the bear trap. I had a couple of other things going for me. Got him down to 0, and then he came back with 3 life, which at that point, like, I was down to 1. Yeah, it was not good. None of it was good. None of it was good. But the good thing is, as I get to move this up with this particular ability, I can start pulling in some of these really high power cards. For example, the Critical Blow card, the Furious Strike card. All of these very important things that are good if I can just get my hands on them. It's just really hard to get my hands on them. All right, so is there anything else I can do while I am here? Nope. So we're going to call it a day with 5 remaining. What do I have left in my hand? Got Guard, Retaliate, Search, and Planning. So I got some big ones in here. I'm going to grab Furious Strike. That's 4. And then I'm going to grab a Close Call. And then I'm going to take all of these back. And I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Once again, 11. I'm going to discard the Short Rest, because once again, not dead yet. And reset. Okay, so that is the planning phase. Killer phase. He ain't got nobody to kill. Hence is an additional damage for each slice. He gets 2 hearts back, but we haven't actually interacted yet, so That does nothing for him. And it didn't raise that, which is also nice for me. Okay. So, we're back to here. Panic phase, there's no panic. Upkeep phase, there's no upkeep. And we need to just get a move on. Oh, I didn't grab a sprint. Shit. All right, well, I guess we're walking then. I didn't grab a sprint. I thought I grabbed a sprint. All right, well, we're gonna walk. I'm going to discard a close call, the close call and the focus to make this a success. And I'm going to save these two. Woohoo! Back you go! And back you go. Actually, walk still takes one, so it's only a net of one. But still, now I'm back above the 6, which is nice. I can't move. Alright. I'm going to try this focus card again. My most unlucky card. Oh, I take it back. I take it back. The focus card is wonderful. The focus card let me take one down here. Plus it gives me 1, 2 up here. All right. So we've discarded the focus card. So now I've got some choices. I'm going to end the action turn. I'm at 9. I'm going to grab a sprint, which takes me down to 6. I'm going to grab this critical blow while I can, which takes me down to 0, and we're done. Oh, and then I get these back in my hand, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, okay. Cool, I don't even need to discard anything this go around. All right, so walk goes here, focus goes here, focus goes here, and close call goes back up here. So I've got some really powerful cards in my hand. I'm going to need to start taking the fight to him. But, all right, killer phase, he's got nowhere to go. If there are no victims on the board, discard and draw a new tarot card, otherwise a tarot. Okay. Wise moves. Ooh. I don't think he can make it to the victim, which is good. Because we're still just at 1. Yes, so what happens here is, so this means that he gets to move 2. Like the number of boots is the number he gets to move. However, at the moment, he only gets to move 1 movement per boot. Once he hits up Dark Power level, though, he gets to move 2 per boot. So right now, 1, 2, not so bad. He can't quite get to that victim yet. So he can't kill anyone. And he can't raise the horror track yet. All right. So this has actually been lots of dead campers. It's not 4 dead campers. I've saved a lot of them. Like I've saved 7 campers, man. And look, 2 of those campers died in a fire. That was not my fault. They were smart. They were at the docks. They thought they would be able to get away. The docks burst into flames. The water turned to acid. Everything went terrible very, very, very quickly at the docks. All right. So, We are going to even have any items yet. Uh, we actually have not interacted with each other at all yet. Like I've been running around saving victims, and he was just up there, I don't know, doing shit. All right, so let's get a move on. Oh. Let's see if this works. I'm a sprint. Uh, nope, didn't quite make it. Um, sprint goes back there. We're gonna go there. And he's not within 2 spaces, so I can't. I can't. I can't. I don't think I have anything else I can do at the moment. There's literally nothing else I can do. I can't focus. I mean, I could walk, but once again, no, that means I have a walk in that one. All right, yeah, let me walk. I can at least. No, I'm too busy to meet the killer. Okay, so I'm gonna move. Oh, and that should have taken one too. So I'm gonna do my walk there. All right, chat. I know there aren't very many of you, but if and I can't really set up a poll at the moment. My computer's a little bit too far away from for that. Do I confront the killer? Because I can do that this turn. I can start wailing on the killer this turn. Or do I go searching in the cabins? I just start wailing on the killer. That's way funnier. It's like here I am, absolutely no weapons whatsoever. Ah. So I walked. I'm here. I am within 2 spaces of the killer, so I can fly over to him per the special ability that I have. And then I'm stuck on the square with him. So we're gonna see how well this turns out. All right, we're gonna roll planning. We're gonna roll planning, everybody. No! I have to make that at least one success, so I'm gonna discard. Short rest and search. I hate to do that to search. Nope, not search. Why would I do that to search? I have to pay for search. I've got so many attacks. I can do that to weak attack. Weak attack will come back into my hand. Because I gotta have that. So planning is gonna give me 2 extra dice for the next horror roll, but I still gotta take 1 down. We gotta do it, right? We got a critical blow. I mean, I've only got, I don't have anything in my hands. But we gotta go for it. We gotta go for it. I don't know when I'm gonna have an opportunity to go for it again. Especially since I don't have anything else in my hands. Like I don't know what she comes out there with. She bum rushes him. I don't know. Picture something crazy in your head and throw it in the stream. If but yeah, so I have planning. So I've got my 2 regular dice. Plus got 2 extra dice from planning. To start. 3 stars, 3 stars. It doesn't matter that I have the extra star. But okay, so what does critical blow mean? Critical blow means this goes down by 1. It means that I hit him for 3. 1, 2, 3. I just bum rushed him out of nowhere like a crazy ass bitch. Uh, it goes away. I also have Furious Strike because once again, this is one of those games where you don't save. You unload when you have the ability to unload. So I also have Furious Strike. I'm back down to only, yeah, only the 2 dice. But it's fine. It's fine. I only need 1. Yep, I only needed 1. Plus, this brings me down to here, which if that doesn't bring it back up, I get extra dice starting next turn. So that'll be good. The downside is that this ends my action phase immediately. But I also whacked him for another one. So, in 1 turn, he went from no damage to having 4 damage done. Which, isn't so bad, considering, once again, I'm an unarmed little girl. With no movement for next turn. Alright, so. Or at least I only have a walk next turn. So, it is the killer phase. The killer is going to try to hit me for 3. However, I have Retaliate in my hand. Gonna now run away. That rabbit is generous. Oh, I don't have any more movement. So on the killer turn, because I'm the closest to him, and this one says that the target would be the victim or the final girl, and we're in the same square, he is going to attempt to hit me. Now I have Retaliate. He's going to try to hit me for 3. I got 1, so I'm going to lose 1. Not critical. Plus, I get him 1 back. So that could have been far worse, and we're not doing so bad there. Now, we'll see what the terror does now that I have draw the... Maybe things are starting to go our way. Draw the top card of any item deck. Ooh! I gotta put the bear trap down, right? Okay, so here are my choices now that the game is actually being nice to me for once. I can either do the bear trap, which allows me to spend 2 time to place a token in a space that's not the lake, which is fine because the lake is acid anyway. If the killer enters the space with the bear trap, and only the killer, discard the token and immediately end the killer phase. The killer receives 2 damage. The old revolver is a one-handed weapon that can only be used from further away. I thought the word climax was sex-related. Oh my gosh. Yes, that's very fine. That's incredible. That's incredible, Automod. Yeah, it's like one of those things where it's like we were dancing around each other. We were dancing, and no. I think honestly, I think that for my purposes, the bear trap is the way to go. Now, one important thing about the item deck, you'll notice that I'm not flipping over the next card. I will not do that unless or until I go and search. Because when I search, I will flip over this one and choose that. Like if you just pull off the top of the deck like that, sorry, babe. From that point forward, it's a mystery. Now, if I had gone and just searched the room, I could have taken that or taken the one that was underneath it, but I'd have to bury one, and then the one underneath it would be the uh, the mystery. But yeah, so this goes in the backpack. As you can see, there's no hands on it, so technically it's not a weapon. It is a trap, which I will set at the appropriate time. So that was the terror phase, which was decidedly less terror than it could have been. Um, we're back up to my phase now. This is where things are going to be interesting because I do not have as much stuff anymore. What I can do, I'm going to walk. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, so we're gonna walk. I'm gonna walk here. I'm gonna spend the 2 to throw down the bear trap. Here's the deal. He's coming in my direction no matter what I do at this point. If he's going to move towards a victim or he's going to move to the final girl, he has to. He's boxed, like we're boxed in, but so is he. So yeah, this is a nice, like, cool little cinematic moment. So it's like, oh, I'm running out to the island. I'm running out to the island. Bear trap. I throw the bear trap down. I take a moment. Like, I don't throw it down. I take a moment. I just whacked him across the head a couple of times. I kung fu'd him real good. He hit me, but like I uppercut him again, but he hit me real good on my arm. So I'm bleeding. So he's got my scent. I'm running here. Someone is screaming idiotically from makeout point. Um, and so yeah, I run ahead of him, and it goes putting down the thing there. And she knows. He knows that it's a dead end, but she knows that he's gonna alone. Oh, I cheated myself on a die there. Give me 1 second. I get 3 dice right now. Okay, wouldn't have made a difference, but it would have potentially put me in the same thing as the victim. So that was worth checking. I'm gonna hold my cards. I still got 3, so we're in upkeep phase. I'm gonna buy sprint. And I'm gonna buy close call. Yeah, this seems like the time to start making sure that I've got some options here. Killer phase. He's not in the square with anyone, can't do any damage. No! If there are no victims on the board, discard and draw the next terror card. Otherwise. Now, this is where the bear trap is going to be important. Because had the bear trap not been there, he would have gone 1-2 and immediately killed that victim, which would have brought him up to dark power and made him more powerful. However, the important thing about the bear trap is not only does it give him immediate 2 damage, he can I only use this once? place the bear trap token. I mean, it feels like it's too powerful for me to be able to use more than once. But...
Good night.
Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. I'm gonna call that you can only use the bear trap once. It seems a little bit too powerful to use more than one. Well, let me see. I'm gonna see if items actually say that you're supposed to discard them anywhere. Yeah, it's I'm pretty sure items are one use. So we're gonna discard the bear trap. He's gonna walk here, go, my leg! The bear trap is gone. So is 2 of his health. And the victim is still on the island going, hello? Hello, is anybody there? Hello? And my girl is like, shut up. But we're still we're still screwed though. Cause the killer's there. The killer. That's the only way out. Shoot. Make sure I double check that. But I don't think I can force the victim to move through a space with a killer. Okay, so if the killer comes to them, it's fine. They'll move out with me. But if they go to, they will not go to the killer. So I just bought myself some time on that one. All right. So that ended the turn. There's no more terror. He didn't kill anyone. There's no panic this phase. There's no upkeep this phase. So we're back to actions. All I've got is a weak attack. Let's do it. Let's weak attack this bitch. I don't know if you can see here, but if I don't, even though I just gotten 1 success, I would have lost a health. But instead, my weak attack actually just whacked him for 1. All right. And it doesn't take any time off, which is also nice. I'm going to walk to the victim's space if I can, because that might give an option. Yep. So 1 space, this goes down, this here. If I can somehow taunt the killer, who knows? No, I'm good. All right, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and take the time I have left to buy Furious Strike again. No. Buy Furious Strike again. Yeah, no. To buy Planning again. and the other close call card. I've got 10 cards in my hand. Let's see how well this goes. All right, we're at killer phase, guys. Let's see what happens. No one in the space. He can't do anything. We're getting real low on terror cards. So we're place 2 new victims on the space where I started the game. So that was here. This goes back up. Oh, I kept only rolling one die. Did any of that make a difference? No, it didn't. Okay. That goes back up. That goes up. And there is an event. During the epi phase, move the victim closest to the killer 1 space towards it. Do not count the victims in the same space as the killer. Jesus Christ. Death Wish. All right. Let's see what we got. Okay. So he didn't move this turn. So now I got to move back in my turn. That's the event. Panic phase. No panic phase. But now there is an upkeep phase. Ugh, son of a bitch. Yes. That is the victim closest to the killer. The victim moved into. I mean, I guess I was going that way anyway, right? All right. I'm going to focus first. I'm going to try to get my extra die back. All right, that should have gone down by 1. That's fine. I don't need both of them. Got 3 dice now. I'm just going to take a little walkie walk. I don't need to sprint. I just need to walk. I just need 1. Of course, I don't get 1. So what can I... Oh, no. I can re-roll any 1 die. I can re-roll any 1 die. Really? I could have just gotten rid... Let me get rid of search. Search and short rest. Oh, I didn't pull these back into my hand. Yes, I did not pull these back into my hand. Okay. 1, 2, 3. But yes, I'm still getting rid of short rest and search. I don't need them this turn. To turn one of these to a success, which will allow me to take a walk. I'm just going to walk 1, move down 1, and now I'm a weak attack. I don't have any of the big attack options, but hey, cool. I whacked him for 1. And now we're going to sprint. And the victim is coming with me. I'm going to try to get the victim out. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Seriously? I guess I'm gonna walk and focus. There's a lovely waist there. Two, but I am gonna walk two, and that does get the victim out. That puts me up by one. I just had to go through all of my damn cards. But once again, we're in the end game. This is not the time. All right. Especially since that's the last tarot card, which means the finale opens at the end of next round. So if I can do 3 damage. Oh, I don't think I can. So I've got 5. 5 by itself just gives me long rest. I'm going to grab Furious Strike, and I'm going to grab Close Call. It's part of my upkeep. I still have Guard in my hand, so even if I can't retaliate, at least I can do something if he hits me. All right. That was the planning phase, y'all. If there are no victims on the board, discard this tarot card and draw the next card. Otherwise, all victims that are not on your space must panic. All right, so this is the first time I've actually done a panic. So let's do a quick panic check. Actually not doing terribly. The planning phase, the killer phase, attacking a victim, attacking the final girl. Panic phase. No panic. Roll a die for the victim and consult the number. Each one is different. Okay. So, for victim 1, they are going to panic in this direction. For victim 2, they are going to panic in this direction. So they just ran off together. Okay. Another set of star-crossed lovers. All right. So, as you can see here, we've run out of tarot deck, which means that when the next one goes, we're in the finale. Which is interesting because we didn't flip his dark power, but we're at the finale already. So that's one of the things. If you stretch out the game too long, you can end up with a super powerful bad guy anyway. So let's see. I can't even move to him this round. That's fun. All right, I got nothing. We're gonna skip the action phase and we're gonna go straight to the killer phase. Oh, victim closest to the killer one space towards it, which I guess, based on rule of hilarity, these two will keep moving together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. Here we go. Yeah, I guess that is technically closer. So they're just end up back exactly where they were before. It's fine. By the way, so you know, if you were going by the rule of infinite evil, and they were on this space, they would definitely move into the lake. If you were going by the rule of realism, you probably wouldn't have them move into the lake. If you were going by the rule of infinite hilarity, all bets are off. All right, so we've got We're in the finale, everybody. Let's see what we've got. Bloodbath! So now, starting this turn, we have no more terror cards. But he will get to move 2 spaces and attack twice for every single time that he gets to attack. So we're in the end game now, baby. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Let's see how this goes. Now, good thing is I still have 3 dice. And it seems unlikely, and now that there's no more terror, the terror can't move. This won't move up again until we hit here if we get real unlucky. But the thing here is that it's going to... He's going to kill me before he gets to that. That's where we are now. All right. Let's walk. Oh no, I don't have to walk. I forgot about my special move. It's a thing I can do. Dummy. All right, so now it's time to unload. First, we're going to roll planning. Two successes. I get 3 extra dice on the next roll. Next roll is going to be Furious Strike. There we go. There's my 2. I move here. I move. I didn't actually move that down. I didn't have any. That was my first card. Okay, so I actually get to move that back up 1 because we are now at the very bottom of this here. Actually, doing way better than last time. All right, and I hit him for 2. Now 3 of these dice go away. We're standing here. We're fighting. We're by the acid lake of death. And all I got left is a weak attack. All right, but fortunately I also have lots of things. We'll see. Oh, I forgot about this rule. This is also an important rule. I am rolling an extra die because when either he or me get down to this last little bit of health there, it adds an extra die. It's actually called an adrenaline rush. I couldn't remember what it was called, but when I was flipping through, it is called the adrenaline rush. So I'm all excited. I am ready to be done with it. Like you can see, he's bloody, he's beating, he's raging, he's got the thing over his head. I can tell that if he gets one more hit on me, I might be a goner. And I push him. No, I'm gonna take the hit. You know why? Because I might need that reroll if this goes poorly. Oh no, wait. Did I get 2? Did I change one of these dice? Let's go back and check the camera. I think I got 1, and I might have. I got 1. It's fine. I'm gonna say that I got 1 because I only saw 1, and I think I might have fiddled with the die, absentmindedly. It's all good, baby. Because what's going to happen here is, yeah, she just gives him a little push into the lake. And, and, and for the dramatic reveal, oh, the acid lake has claimed him. It is an acid lake filled with alligators and death and terror. And he'll put his hands out, and the musk is corroding the metal mass. You can see the skin underneath. He sinks face down. Yeah, we went over what the final thing is, but of course we roll credits and obligatory out of the lake. But yeah, yeah, that went surprise. When I say that last time it went poorly, it went poorly. It poorly. Oh, and so we know, had it gone the other way, I would have actually gotten uh, a last reprieve, which is pretty cool. So yeah, yeah, that's Final Girl, everyone. I am, I'm feeling this game. I like the theme. I could always do one of these again with some of the harder rules with Lori. Let's see if I would have ever gotten the axe based on my axe rule. Nope. But there were a ton of weapons here. I could have stabbed him. Archery. I would have taken way too much time with stab to stab. So yeah, I can definitely do this again at some point, or like have someone come over and talk them through it, or like when I do it, it really is going to be me leaning heavy into the whole um, make it cinematic, make it feel good, describe it to everyone. Don't make it feel too good since climax is a sex word. Um, really, I don't have the strongest of moderations on Twitch. Uh, Anywho, that is Final Girl. And I said, "This is Hans." Oh, let me see what would his dark power would have been. Dark obsession. Whenever Hans attacks at least once, he attacks you at an additional time. Which I mean, we avoided each other for huge sections of the game, which can be a strategy, I guess. So, but yeah, this was good. Thank you for those who are on vacation for joining me and spending some of your vacation time and staying up a little bit later than normal with me. I do appreciate it. This was fun. I had a good time. I did understand the game a little bit better than I thought. And in some ways, I think I might have screwed up. But hey, the first time I played, but it's good. So so yeah. We'll do this again sometime. But Monday we'll be back to Ace Attorney, and I'll play that through. And then on Wednesday I'll play some Remnant. I will play it. I can't say that's gonna be a regular thing, at least not on stream. But I will play. I promise. And tell Ben that that's on the list. All right, everyone. Thank you. Thank you all so much for being here. As always, I am a panda with opinions, and as always, my opinion, you are great. We'll figure it out. All right. Bye, everyone.